Rant summer is here. Head on over to AJsRANTroom.com. We got all of your summer needs covered. From bathing suits to swim trunks, flip-flops and tote bags, towels, tanks, and muscle shirts. Oh, and you can't forget about the visors and the hats. It's lit. So head on over to AJsRANTroom.com and get your summer poppin'. You won't be disappointed. It's always lit over at AJsRANTroom.com. We got the best bags and accessories, our beloved Black Series. We got fresh lids for you hat lovers, fire jackets and hoodies, and of course we got you covered on the t-shirts. And introducing our first shoe line, Aloysius Germain. So get on over to AJsRANTroom.com today and get to shopping. You won't be disappointed. Monday. Oh, yeah. What's good, everybody? Happy Monday. Welcome to the Lunchtime RANT. I'm your boy, AJ. And hope everybody had a great weekend. Wish I had a day off, but, you know, I chose this life, so I ain't complaining. Anyway, we have a lot to cover. Actually, we have more topics than I have time. So I had to move some of the topics till tomorrow. And I changed tonight's I changed the RANT experience topics tonight to adjust to some of the other stories that I wanted to get to. Because the RANT experience, those stories will work better on the RANT experience than on the Lunchtime RANT. Anyway, that's tonight at 8:00 for those who haven't, who've never seen my other podcast, which is the RANT Experience, which is every Monday at 8 p.m. I will plug that again towards the end of the show. Anyway, we have a lot to cover, so let's get into it. South Carolina gubernatorial candidate Mullens McLeod unloaded an explicit rant after he was arrested for public disorderly conduct. The only Democrat, he's the sole Democrat in the race. He dropped his conservative political rival Alan Wilson's name in the police video and has since refused to drop out of the race. You can't be this stubborn after this goes down. Uh-oh. Hold on, y'all. I'm frozen. Whoa. I'm moving, but the MacBook is frozen. Oh, technology, the world. Oh, here we go. We're back. All right, cool. Now, this should have actually been queued up already, but you know, my producer want to go get a real job.
Well, tonight, the South Carolina Democratic Party is calling on its sole candidate for governor to drop out of the race. This after newly released video shows him screaming and threatening his political opponents.
You can see it was caught on police dash camera during his May arrest. WCNC Charlotte's Julie Kay is in York County with the story.
I obtained more than an hour of footage from the Charleston Police Department In that video, McLeod is seen using a racial slur, attacking some of his challengers, and referring to himself as God. Shocking footage.
Oh!
Shaking up the South Carolina governor's race.
McLeod for governor! And you know what that is? The people's house!
This video shows Charleston police arresting lawyer and now Democratic candidate for governor Mullens McLeod in May. Police say they found him yelling at the top of his lungs while wearing only underwear and shoes. He initially refused to identify himself.
It doesn't matter, my friend. Trust me, I'm one of the most just humans to ever walk
Okay, just
this
human.
soil.
Tell me your name.
I'm just human.
He also uses a racial slur before eventually identifying himself and alluding to his then future campaign for governor. That's when he turned the insults on two of his now opponents, including Attorney General Alan Wilson.
I'm gonna kick your teeth in.
When asked about the video, Wilson said in a statement he's giving McLeod the benefit of the doubt. McLeod also refers to Nancy, presumably Congresswoman Nancy Mace, who announced her candidacy last week.
Hey, Nancy! Right?
A spokesperson for her tells me those who promote violence against women should never hold public office. The South Carolina Democratic Party chair now calling on McLeod to drop out, saying, quote, "It is clear that Mr. McLeod is navigating profound challenges and should focus on his mental and emotional well-being instead of a campaign for governor." As far as the arrest goes, McLeod is still facing misdemeanor charges for disorderly conduct. We have that full clip on our WCNC mobile app. In York County, Julie Kay, WCNC Charlotte.
How do you come back from that, man? Like, refuse to drop out? Like, who gonna vote for you? I mean, obviously the dummies are going to vote for you because you're the only Democrat and all they see is Democrat. That's all they see. But who in their right mind is going to vote for you after you showed your complete ass? Like, literally told people, threatened people, called people names, using racial epithets, bro. I thought we were on the side of the racist. I thought the racist was us, you know. I thought, whoa. Oh, no, I forgot. It's a Democrat. They can get away with it. They can get away with blackface. They can get away with racial epithets. They could get away with turning your communities into war zones. They can get away with everything. They can get away with food deserts, redlining. They get away with everything. Democrats can get away with everything. If that was a Republican, oh my gosh, this would have been a super national news story. Front page, Trump's America. But because he's a Democrat, you know, we're gonna kind of just, you know, dude, if your mental health is that out of whack, you're not suited for governor. How you literally being governor is like being a mini president. You're the president of the state of South Carolina. So if you're the president of the state of South Carolina, you ain't got time to be taking mental health days. We just ain't got time for that. So how do we know on your weakest day that you might not spaz out, do something dramatically crazy? How do we know that? So yeah, it's probably best that you drop out, go figure it out, you know, go get your life together, because clearly something ain't right. And I also sense that it had nothing to do with just you being uptight about the race. It also has some things to do with you probably had a little tip, you probably had a little something else, sugar booger. You know, I'm assuming, but that wasn't just somebody upset. That was somebody clearly lit on something, and it's time to go get yourself together. You not ready for this, baby. Sorry to break the news to you. Anyway, moving on. So, you know, King Randall the First is one of my favorite people, and proactive, doing the thing in the community, helping out his people as he should, pulling up young black men from the community and making sure they get some get right in their life, you know, especially the ones that don't have a father figure. And so obviously this draws comparisons to our favorite Dr. Umar. And for some reason, of course, it's social media, because this is what social media does. They go to his comment section to talk about Dr. Umar. And this is what King Randall had to say about about being compared to Dr. Umar.
Over the past few days, since I've talked about our fundraiser and all the successes that we've had with the X for Boys program, of course, many people are in the comments and etc. Sharing the video talking about Dr. Umar or whatever like that. I think he's on the cusp of maybe losing his buildings or something of that nature. Not sure what's going on with that. But, you know, my big thing is always sharing everything about where people's money is going. I've always been, you know, very transparent about that. If we asked for paint, I showed y'all the paint. If we asked for new toilets or something, I showed y'all us buying the toilets. I showed everything that you guys have given. We have an Amazon wish list. You know, we don't just ask for monetary donations. We ask for people to buy specific things. If we've asked for laptops, I've shared it. If we asked to get the kids haircuts, I've shared it. Our program has remained free, so we are still tuition free in our program like we have been for the past 6.5 years. I just think if Dr. Umar would have started something like with what he had, I think people would have been more apt to give him, and I honestly think he would have gotten where he needed to be had he had.
Hold on, wait. Say that again, King Randall. Say that again.
Like we have been for the past 6.5 years. I just think if Dr. Umar would have started something like with what he had.
If Dr. Umar had just started with what he had, not try to go from 0 to 1,000. That goes for podcasters too. Oh my goodness. When you try to go from 0 to 1,000 and you're going into uncharted territory, it's not like Dr. Umar has a history of building schools and he had this great network of people to help him, you know, who were in public and private sectors who could help him out and really show him the ropes. This was just a disaster from the start. But when you're also dealing with someone like Dr. Umar, who isn't exactly the most reliable, the most stable, clearly not someone who I don't know why people put their trust in this man. I don't know. Like, if you can't see a scammer when you see one, I don't know what to tell you. But I knew from the moment he announced that school almost 7 years ago that it was never going to manifest. I knew it. You can tell. I don't know. It's just an intuition thing, or maybe it's just you see how someone starts to move, or you already seen how they've moved, and you're like, yeah, okay, I'll believe it when I see it. Now, if he had opened the school and all was great, and he was really educating children and really, moving the needle forward in the community, I would have no issue with it. But the point is, I knew it was going to be a scam from the beginning. I knew we were still not going to have a school. Almost a decade later, we're still waiting for the school. But yeah, this is it. You start with what you have. I started with what I have. I'm still building. Other people started their podcast, started their talk shows, whatever they want to do, started their social media, and you just build it. But to go from, and that was, and actually, honestly, that was one of the first mistakes I made with the first AJ's Rant Room back in 2020. Is I bought all this equipment. First mistake was accepting an investment from somebody that I should have never accepted it from. And then number two, buying all this equipment. So I have all this elaborate equipment and I'm like overwhelmed. Because I'm like, I have to operate all this and come up with a script, come up with a through line, come up with a personality for the show. What am I going to talk about? Like, what is the Rant Room? I just created this thing. And so, I didn't know. Let me move these comments. All right. So so see, y'all threw me off. Yeah. And yeah, back. So yeah. So I scaled back and I said, okay, let's start. Let's go back. Let's go back. Let's remix some things. Let's rework some things. And let's build it brick by brick as opposed to bam. We got everything, and it's just like, yeah, you got all this equipment, but is it working for you? So yeah, Umar, if you had just pooled the resources that you had available to you at that time, even if you started in like a community center or like in a church, or whatever, if you had just started really small with an idea, right? And then you gave yourself benchmarks, right? Okay, by this date, by this date, by this date, by this date, then you would know then it wouldn't be such a pressure cooker, and then social media wouldn't be on you, and then people who gave you money wouldn't be like, yo, where's the results, where's the fruit, we planted all these seeds, where's the fruit, why are the kids not being fed in the community, what's going on here? So yeah, if you had started small, and that's probably the best, but people always want to be grand and do the most, and it's like you got to start with people kicking you in the face saying, oh, it ain't gonna work, oh, this is ridiculous, oh, why are you doing this? Yeah, that's where you need to start. You need to start there, and then 10 years from now be like, yep, told you so, and get out my face.
I think people would have been more apt to give him, and I honestly think he would have gotten where he needed to be had he had proof of concept, because he's a great orator. He talks very well. If I could talk that great, I'm sure we'd have millions of dollars.
If I could talk that great, I'm sure we'd have millions of dollars. If I could talk that great, I guess we'd have millions of dollars. If I could talk that great, I guess we'd have millions of dollars. Felt like that was a Umar moment. Carry on.
But I still started with something. I started out of my house originally. I started in my dining room at 19.
Started in his dining room at 19. Umar started this school grown and fat.
And after listening to him, that's why I started it. I just wanted to start something. I knew that I couldn't start something mass scale, so I'm just like, I'm gonna start with whatever I got. And we started with $0. I was cutting hair, fixing cars, painting houses. I mean, that's what I was doing to support the program originally. And then I learned how to utilize social media to be able to raise money. And we started doing that. And we went project by project. We failed, we succeeded, etc. But I've always continued sharing what it is that we're doing. So I know a lot of people always ask why they won't see us on the Breakfast Club or etc. I'm not a comedian. I don't critique people's dating life. I don't, talk about what people should be doing. I don't belittle my donors. We don't do any of those things. We just share what we got going on. If we don't raise enough money, we pivot. If we don't get things done, we pivot. And we keep going. So we definitely failed. We failed some students, etc. But we kept moving and we kept going. And that's something that I believe in. So I appreciate everybody's support that they've been given. But I'd appreciate just the stop the Dr. Umar talk. I understand he has his own thing going on. We've had our differences also, but I truly still wish him the best, and I hope everything works out with whatever he has going on. But aside from that, we have our fundraiser still going. Our program is still completely no government funds, no government grants. It's completely people funded. Everything that y'all see, our full-time staff, the vans we have, the new electrical panels, the flooring, the ceiling tile, you all funded it all. And we appreciate all the support that you've been giving over the past 6.5 years. We've been running this whole time. I mean, we even ran out of my grandmama's house at one point. But I appreciate y'all so much. Please look at the link in my bio to continue giving to the Extra Boys program. Thank y'all so much. Peace.
Now, if you want to know what giving a damn about your community looks like, that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to have setbacks. You're going to have things that work. You're going to have things that don't work. You're going to have moments where you want to give all this up and just go be regular. And there are going to be days where you're like, okay, whatever. I'm good. I could just thug it out. Whatever. I could miss 2 dinners. I could miss eating for 3 days for this. You got to really want it. You got to really want it. So yeah. If you're willing to, but that's what we lack so much these days is the process. Everybody want instant oatmeal. Everybody want it in 1 minute, 30 seconds. Stop trying to microwave. There's just certain parts of the process you can't get past. And then the faster you try to build it, the more mistakes you make, right? Because a lot of these facets and a lot of these departments and dimensions and networks and things that you don't know, they're going to try to manipulate you because they know that you're ignorant. Um, when I started to teach, when I first started to teach dance, I didn't know that I was supposed to get paid to try out. Like when you go try out at a school, you go try out, you go teach like 3 classes. I didn't know I was supposed to get paid for that. I didn't know that. So here I am going to all these schools, and sweaty, not getting the job. Sweaty, maybe get the job. Sweaty, okay, got the job. Okay, but didn't know I was supposed to get paid for that part of the process. I just thought like it was a job interview. I'm like, okay, it's a job interview. You know, you don't get paid to go answer some questions and ask some questions. But then your professional dancer friends come in and is like, yo, no, you're supposed to get paid for that. You're supposed to get paid to teach. You're teaching. Even if you don't get the job, you came in to teach. That's your time. And that's time you could have spent that in audition. That's time you could have spent in a class. That's time you could have spent making money somewhere else, you know. So yeah, you're getting paid for your time and you need to get your bread. So yeah, for that point forward, oh yeah, oh hell yeah. You want me to come to Staten Island? Oh, it's gonna cost you. It's gonna cost you $120 an hour. Oh, those were the days. Um anyway, we got to get back to the process, people. We got to get back to building things with a legacy mindset, not building things so we can get social media glorification that comes and goes, right? Like these stories cycle in and out so quickly. And Dr. Umar is just one of those people that just doesn't seem to cycle out of the news because he's just so bad at what he's doing. So when you're just this bad and you've taken this much money from people, yeah, people kind of gonna give you side eye. So yeah, when you're taking people's money, show them what you're doing with their money. Like King Randall said, if I ask you for $2,800 so I could buy some new toilets, then you gonna watch us go to Home Depot and buy the toilets. Right. That's the way it works. So you're showing people I'm not scamming you. This isn't a con. This is not something I'm making up so I could pocket this money and, and go live high off the hog or go to South Africa like Dr. Umar did. Because what I didn't understand about that Dr. Umar thing also, he's just said when he begged for that money for him and Ufasa, whoever his wife is or wherever girlfriend, whatever, he said that he had just come back from South Africa. So I was like, well, if you were in South Africa, how did you not know that your cards weren't locked? Like how did you not know your accounts weren't frozen? That's a little weird to me. So, I mean, again, there's always discrepancies in his stories, always things you look back and you're like, how'd you not know that? But if you knew it, okay, whatever, Umar. All right, moving on. Hold on. Wait, did I skip it? Okay, great. All right, so living legend, Chubby Checker, revealed that he is skipping his Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony. And he said, we're not coming. Rock and roll legend Chubby Checker is skipping his Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony in favor of playing in front of his fans after waiting over 3 decades to join the exclusive music club. Chucker, 83, revealed at a recent show that he will not attend the honors in Los Angeles on November 8th because he will be rocking out on stage at a different gig. Checker, best known for the 1960 chart-topping hit The Twist, has been eligible for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame since its inaugural class in 1985. The Grammy Award winner has yet to be nominated until this year. Interesting. Anticipating his selection, Checker said his manager booked him a gig for November 8th before the Hall of Fame reached out to tell him the big news. On April 27th, Chucker was among 13 musicians selected as part of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame class of 2025. Checker joins an impressive class of more traditional rock and roll performers, including Bad Company, Joe Cocker, Cyndi Lauper, Outkast, Soundgarden, and the White Stripes. The twist again, singer recalled the phone call with Hall of Fame staff when his team turned down the offer to fly out to the ceremony at the Peacock Theater in Los Angeles. We said, we're not coming. We have a gig. Chucker said, I think it's a combination of we have a gig and 40 years. 40 Mary J. Blige is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame before Chubby Checker. Mary J. Blige. No disrespect to Mary J. Blige. She's contributed to music. No disrespect to any other artist that I might think, okay, yeah, I might squint a little bit, like, maybe, but I don't quite get it. The fact that there's still so many legends at this age who still have not been inducted is crazy to me. Like, it's just 40 years. 40 years. The twist, I mean, without the twist, you don't have any of like major dance craze. Like, that was one of the first, and that was a very big part of integration and all the other stuff. And you know, and I think he's just a little. I think him and his team are a little pissed off, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. It shouldn't take 40 years to get Chubby Checker into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That at best, I wouldn't say he's a first ballot, but he should have definitely been there within the first 10 years. He should have been within the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But, it is what it is. And then I think we're also putting the Hall of Fame is also about politics, just like every other award show and Hall of Fame ceremony. It's all about the politics and the optics, and we want to get eyeballs on the ceremony. And now with the elevation of the social media age, we got to add some younger acts, quote younger, acts who qualify for the Hall of Fame, so we can get more people to watch. Because I guess we don't want to watch, 5 80-year-olds get inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, although they rightfully should be inducted. But it is what it is. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, do better. What was her name? Rosetta Tharpe, I believe. It took forever to induct her. I'm like, how? Okay, all right, moving on. So Lamar Jackson is under fire. What did Lamar Jackson do? Well, he's under heavy criticism for retweeting this. It's all about Jesus. Oh, no, not the Jesus part. Not the Jesus part. It's not about Jesus. He's under fire because, quote unquote, right-wing political personality Charlie Kirk is the author of the tweet that he retweeted. Now, apparently Jackson has taken some heat, some serious heat, from Ravens fans and from fans all across the league. Now, I don't know why he would be taking heat, but I'm AJ and the world is the world. Lamar Jackson has angered NFL fans after sharing a tweet from Charlie Kirk due to the activist's controversial past while becoming a right-wing personality. Long accused of anti-Semitism, Kirk has seen his stature grow significantly over the last few years, even recently speaking at Oxford Union. Kirk was also the butt of the joke on a recent episode of South Park, in which provocateur character Eric Cartman played him. On Sunday, Jackson retweeted a post from Kirk when he wrote, "It's all about Jesus." Kirk had once been a regular criticizer of the Christian religion. It is not known if Jackson, as a fan of Kirk's, I think that probably meant to say is a fan of Kirk's, but he's been slammed for sharing his post nonetheless. One guy wrote, "Guys, I'm very aware that Lamar Jackson probably has zero idea who Charlie Kirk is and is solely retweeting because it talks about his faith. But it's still wild to see your favorite player's name right above the second spawn of Satan himself. First of all, who Who gave you permit to call somebody the second coming of anything? And how much you want to bet this is a white dude? And then there's probably another white dude right here. Charlie Kirk would have my man in chains if it were up to him. Where's your proof of that? You know, this person might actually be black. This sound like black lingo, but then those white liberals kind of like black liberals and white liberals kind of like intermix. They're the same Ku Klux Klan at this point. So you kind of can't tell them apart most of the time. First of all, Charlie Kirk wouldn't have him in chains. That's just stupid and emotional. We just love to take stuff to the moon, don't we? And a third person tweeted, Lamar don't be caring. He'll retweet anything about Jesus, LOL, because why you retweeting Charlie Kirk? I don't think Lamar cares. However, many others defended Jackson. One said, y'all think Lamar Jackson care who Charlie Kirk is? All he saw was Jesus in the tweet because he's a God-fearing man. Boom. God is not about black and white. God is not about color. God is it's not about who tweeted it, who didn't, who whatever. And so what if he knows who Charlie Kirk is? So what if he follows Charlie Kirk? So what if he believes in some of the things that Charlie Kirk believes? Who cares? Why do you care? Lamar Jackson is in my life to play a professional sport. He's not in my life to influence my religion. He's not in my life to influence how I move in any other way in the world. He is there to entertain me on Thursdays, Sundays, and Mondays, and sometimes Saturdays towards the end of the season. That is it. That is Lamar Jackson's role in my life. My role isn't to care about who he likes online. There are my favorite quarterback is a Democrat who voted for Kamala and Joe Biden. And in fact, when Joe Biden won, my favorite quarterback put up a picture of him watching Joe Biden on a massive television saying, "Thank you, Mr. President." Did I unfollow, stop watching, critter? No. Russell Wilson's not in my life for any other reason than to entertain me as a football player. That's his job. That's his job. That's it. That's Russell Wilson. Dak Prescott. Cajun, get mute Cajun. That's a mutable offense right there. Dak Prescott. Oh my goodness. Jesus. I can't even focus after reading that. And no disrespect to Dakota. I like Dakota, but no. I don't even think Dak Prescott is in my top 50. But respect to Dak, he got his money. Anyway, but Russell Wilson, clearly has very liberal ideals for being such a very Christian man, which is a little odd to me, but again, we could have that conversation one day. If I ever have the privilege of talking to Russell Wilson, I could, and he's open to answering that, cool. If not, otherwise, it's not a non-negotiable. People are going to vote differently from you in your life. You think everybody in my life votes like me, thinks like me? No, they don't. That's you looking for a cult. If you're looking for that, I ain't looking for no cult. You got to know how to talk to people outside your bubble. You got to know how to talk to people who don't think like you, who don't believe like you. You have to try to, even if you end up not agreeing at the end of the day, you still have to have some sort of understanding of where they're coming from. Because I can promise you, at the end of the day, talking to as many people as I've talked to, we all want the same damn things pretty much. We just have different ways of getting it. That's it. That's it. But oh no, you're Republican, you're Democrat, you like Charlie Kirk, you like Kamala Harris. I don't give a damn. It ain't got nothing to do with it. Did you get on the football field and do what you had to do this weekend? Okay, cool. I don't care. Anyway, Jackson has rarely involved himself in political debates or speak on such issues throughout his 8 years in the NFL because it's none of your business. That's it. If he wants to, that's it. The Baltimore Ravens quarterback did once tweet suggesting that he is a Donald Trump fan. However, when he posted Trump Trump on his X account, I guess trust Trump. However, this was in response to Trump praising the Green Bay Packers cornerback Jair Alexander, reacting to the moment when Jackson had been drafted by the Ravens. Alexander is now on the Ravens with Jackson, reuniting after playing in college together. So what's the issue? I don't know. Jackson was asked about the Trump tweet, stating, "I wasn't making any political statements or anything like that. I was just like I said, just agreeing to what he was saying about me and my teammate. That's all." A two-time MVP and one of the best quarterbacks in the league, Jackson is a beloved figure in the NFL, with all of his tweets and posts being regularly analyzed. He'll hope to lead his team to his first Super Bowl championship, notoriously struggling in the playoffs throughout his career. They had to throw that jab in there, but I'm glad they did. Because they do very well through the rest of the season, then all of a sudden they just choke. Reggie Bush. Oh, please. I don't not Reggie Bush. Not Reggie Bush. Wait, hold on. Where are we? Oh, okay. Boo bit what you got. All right. All right. Now, who said that all the blacks are in the sunken place with regard to Donald Trump sending the National Guard into Washington, D.C.? Who said this? Because any normal black person who just wants a peaceful life and just wants to, stay moisturized and be unbothered is actually with it. So when I see so many black folks on social media, particularly TikTok, saying that this is what we need somebody to come in and really bust this place up because these people ain't doing it. The people we've been voting for decades ain't doing it. So maybe Trump is on to something.
Hey, Trump, you need to bring the National Guards to Chicago, man. You got kids killing kids, man. That's not good, man. Washington, D.C. is not much going on compared to Chicago, man. I'm running. It's a war happening right now in Chicago, man. Hey, look, man. Look, go on the news, or go on Google, type Chicago. I'm going back home to Africa, man. I can't. Too much going on, man. In Chicago, man.
I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people in Chicago with the sentiment. Unfortunately, Donald Trump can't do the same thing because the jurisdiction for Chicago is a bit different from Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. was a lot easier. He can work a lot easier constitutionally with Washington, D.C. With Chicago, they would have to report the accurate violence in Chicago in order to be declared a national emergency and for Trump to be able to step in any way. But he can't do what he's done in DC in Chicago. And it's unfortunate, that cities like Chicago and St. Louis and Baltimore, you have citizens literally crying out for help. And y'all are telling them, oh, the stats are, crime is on the decline. It's on a downward trajectory. Yeah. Well, you know what? I just identified my son on a cold slab in the morgue. I don't give a damn about your stats. I don't care. You're telling this to people who are grieving. You're telling this to people who've lost people they love. You're telling this to people who've been victims of violence themselves. This whole we need to live in a perpetual ghetto heaven is ridiculous. And the fact that there are some black people co-signing this, oh yeah, this is wrong. No. Not 60 years of neglect and bad policy. That's not wrong. What's wrong is Donald Trump doing something about it. We just want to keep living in the slums. We want to keep not having to buy nice furniture because we're afraid that if we go to work, that by the time we get home, they're going to rob our house and take everything. No. That's not the problem. The problem is Donald Trump. Donald Trump's the issue here. That type of slavery plantation parrot mentality is irritating. It's irritating. It's irritating as all hell. I don't get it. I don't get when people complain about an issue, someone becomes solutionary about an issue, and this is generational. This is decades of the same issue. This is not, okay, this happened a few times. This is decades of warfare, of violence, of crime. And then we're sitting here talking about, oh, yeah, Donald Trump's a fascist. No, Donald Trump's not a fascist. Donald Trump actually gives a damn. And he's trying to get you to see that he gives a damn, but he can't make you do it.
I don't understand it, and I don't think I ever will. Why the fuck is people that's not from the city saying DC's not that bad? Why is a nigga from Denver, Colorado saying DC's not that bad and Trump is just trying to be a dictator? Gang, DC is fucking like Gotham City, bruh. Like, y'all do not know. Y'all out of towners, mo. Mind y'all fucking business, bruh.
Facts.
4 infants got killed in a month.
Wow.
This shoot is every day. Carjacking is every day. The city is fucking wild right now, bruh.
Wow.
And it might say it's the lowest it's ever been. That's because these niggas is just not getting caught. There's so much shit going on. Y'all don't even know, bruh. I'm really recovering from getting shot in DC, gang.
Wow.
So for y'all out of towners to be like DC's not that bad and this shit don't need to be done, y'all don't know shit, bruh. Like, for real, y'all don't know shit, bro. What Donald Trump is doing right now, getting the homeless off the street and putting all these law enforcement people in throughout DC, that shit needs to be done good. I'm tired of fucking Gotham City, gang. I'm tired of that shit, bro. I'm trying to go to U Street and not have to worry about running from fucking bullets, bro. I'm sick of that shit, gang.
Jeez. Yeah. So, who's the problem here? It's not a Republican issue because Republicans ain't running these jurisdictions. It's been under y'all. Washington, D.C. has never had every mayor of Washington, D.C. has been a Democrat. There's never been a Republican or any other party. Always, always, always Democrat. So the fact that y'all run the capital of the nation into the ground, and now you want to blame Donald Trump for being proactive? No, this is the problem. Kamala Harris said a few times on the campaign trail, she said, Donald Trump wants to run on a problem. He doesn't want to solve it. No. Democrats have been running on problems for decades. Y'all been running on problems. Oh, rent. Oh, violence. Oh, police brutality. Yeah. Oh, racism. All this stuff. That's literally under y'all tutelage. Literally. And then y'all managed to convince a bunch of brain dead people that it's the Republicans' fault. Or try to make it a federal thing because, of course, the president's the most visible politician. So you try to make it seem like it's the president's fault. So every time there's a Republican president, the world is over. Happened with Reagan, it happened with Bush, it happened with Bush again. And now it's happening with Trump, except this time it's worse because we have way more social media access than we did with those presidents. The world is over. It's a catastrophe. Oh my gosh, your life is over. Oh my goodness. Meanwhile, your actual life is being governed by Democrats. And this is how you get these whacked out policies like cashless bail, freeing people who've literally beat their girlfriends into a bloody pope, but they get freed within a few hours for like $2. If that. So yeah, you're blaming the wrong party. You're blaming the wrong people, but you don't have the courage. And here's a woman in DC, just showing y'all how nice it is.
Yeah, you cannot tell me this is not benefiting us. It's definitely doing what it's supposed to do. I don't care who versus who, what they mean by what. Baby, it's clean and beautiful, like how we like.
This is clean and beautiful, like how we like it. I love it. I love it. This is what you should want. This is what everybody wants. You want to be able to go outside with your family and not worry, okay, is somebody gonna rob me? If somebody gonna shoot me for just any random reason, or is some act of violence is gonna happen in front of me and my family. Like, you don't want to have to go out thinking that. Understand, we go out in the world, you take a risk, but when it's just wild, wild west, yeah, that's when people gonna have issues. Prince, which live are you watching? Oh shit. Shout out to Aisha for watching it live. That's my sister, y'all. Say what's up. Um, where am I? Okay, so let's get into this mess right here. Oh, good cheese and bread. Okay. So when y'all come at me with Jesus was an immigrant. How can you call yourself Christian and have no compassion for people? You're a fake Christian. No one is illegal. Yes, you are illegal. When you bring your sand dune ass into the United States and you don't do it the right way and you get permit to operate an 18-wheeler, and then you move from California where you got the illegal license, and then you move across to Florida, and you start to endanger the citizens of Florida because the people in Florida think you have an active CDL. So they're like, oh, cool. You're fine. Only for this idiot to attempt to make a U-turn on a highway. Those parts where it says official use only, where you're not supposed to, no one's supposed to make a U-turn there except emergency vehicles, right? Here, this idiot goes. Now, I'm glad this video has no sound because I don't think I want to hear this. But the fact that this idiot attempted to do this says everything we need to know about why he shouldn't have a license. Hold on, I don't know if y'all saw it. So he's attempting to make the U-turn, and then the SUV goes right into the right basically under the trailer because they couldn't stop in time. Jesus. Jeez. Like, could you imagine? Could you imagine just going about your life, just regular day, doing your thing, and bam, it's over. Boom, it's over. That's it. End scene. That's it. That's how quickly, if you've ever been in any kind of accident, minor or major, you know how quickly it happens. And he really thinks he's getting away with this. So August 12th, 2025, a horrific crash on Florida's Turnpike in St. Lucie County left 3 people dead when, I'm not saying his name. First of all, I don't know how to say his name, but Sand Nigga, we'll just call him that. When Sand Nigga, an illegal immigrant who crossed the Mexican border in 2018, recklessly attempted an unauthorized U-turn in his semi-truck, obliterating a minivan. I'm sorry, I said SUV. It was a minivan. Florida Highway Patrol swiftly charged the Sand Nigga with 3 counts of vehicular homicide and issue an ICE detainer, highlighting his undocumented status. Astonishingly, Sand Nigga held a California commercial driver's license, a glaring symptom of lax vetting that allowed an unvetted foreigner to operate a lethal 80,000-pound vehicle. But Gavin Newsom should be your next president. Gavin Newsom 2028. Executive Director David Kerner declares San niggas actions shocking and criminal, ensuring his deportation post-prosecution. This tragedy echoes a recent Alabama crash where Ukrainian work visa holder. What's a racial epithet for Ukrainians? As I can't say his name either. Also inadequately vetted, killed 2 and injured 4 in a similar 18-wheeler wreck. These incidents exposed a broken system where open border policies enable preventable chaos. Americans deserve better. Rigorous vetting and swift deportations are non-negotiable to prevent more heartbreak. The left's reckless compassion endangers us all. It's time to prioritize American safety and close these deadly loopholes. This is absolutely unacceptable to just be going about your day and to end up like this. Really? And I'm supposed to give a frog's fat katukas when y'all, who most of y'all aren't even Christians, most of y'all don't even have faith. Most of y'all don't care because your sexuality is your religion. Your race is your religion. But you want to come tell me about Jesus. Jesus didn't say be a punk. Jesus didn't say there's no boundaries. Jesus didn't say there's no laws. Jesus didn't say there are no rules. Just do whatever you want. You do have free will. But yeah, you understand that if you break laws, there are consequences, possible consequences. I was asked to be a truck driver once. I was like, oh, hell no. I don't want that kind of accountability. First of all, when you're a truck driver, like that big ass truck, you have 12 inches on one side and 12 inches on the other. So you have to be laser focused. And you're driving for days on end with 12 inches and 12 inches on both sides. So you ain't got no wiggle room. So what the hell made him think? Of course, what made him think is that he doesn't have the proper training. So what made him think he could hit a U-turn on in an authorized vehicle only zone? Dummy. All you do is you exit, you take the next exit, and you figure your way back that way. Shut up, Prince. No, I can't handle 12 inches. I ain't built for that. Anyway. So, yeah. This is why we want these people out of our country. This is why. See, the problem is, yeah, there's some good people in that mix, but no. Would we wait? We wait until our loved ones are this? We wait until our loved ones are mangled up under a truck? That's what we wait for? Before we say, oh, there might be a problem here. When do we say enough is enough? When do we say that? When do we pump the brakes and say this isn't working? When do y'all stop acting like y'all care so much about illegals? You don't care about illegals. You care about having slaves. Because you're what? Democrats. And what do Democrats need? Slaves. They've always needed slaves. They needed slaves since the inception of this country. Democrats have needed slaves. They don't give a damn about you as human beings. They see you as servants. They see you as low-level employees. They see you as people who pick the marijuana and you pick the cotton and you pick the strawberries. But they don't see you as people who can be in an executive office. They don't want you there. That's why they want to keep you illegal. Because they can keep you under tutelage, they can pay you 5 cents, and you can't complain, and you have no rights. You don't have the proper breaks. They don't care. You don't have any of that. But when you have people like me saying, "Yeah, go back and do it the right way," and then you have full autonomy. You can negotiate your salary and everything. But no, that's not what Democrats want. Democrats want a permanent slave class. That's what they want. But they'll mask it as compassion, which they do all the time. So enjoy. I hope he has everything coming to him. There's a special place in hell for this man for illegally obtaining a license, for firstly breaking into this country. And then I also tell these idiots that if I want to go live in another country, they have rules that I have to follow. They have a way of me becoming a citizen that I have to follow. I can't just show up like, oh yeah, let me in. Come and drop my bags, let my visa expire, and then just hope they don't notice I'm there. No, that's not how that works, people. That's not how that works. So please stop playing in our face, bro. Anyway, where are we? We will be right back. All right. Miss Hillary, please stand up, Miss Hillary. Is Hillary Clinton trying to save her Katukis? All of a sudden, it's President Trump, and all of a sudden she's very diplomatic, and all of a sudden she's very monotone and just really matter of fact and just speaking glowingly of Trump. What brought on this new Hillary? Take a look.
I actually was encouraged by the events of the last several months. First of all, the NATO commitment by individual member states to increase their defense spending is very welcome. It's something that prior administrations have certainly sought, and I think it's great that we are seeing these commitments that now have to be followed through on. The willingness of European countries to support Ukraine, and by doing so, buy American weapons in order to provide them to the Ukrainians. I think all of that is a very good signal that there is beginning to be a better understanding, both by the president and the people around him, as well as by the leaders of our European allies, that there can be common ground amongst us. And the kind of dismissiveness that we saw in the first Trump administration has been replaced by a much more obvious working relationship to the good of European security, transatlantic security, and hopefully Ukrainian security. So I'm actually encouraged.
Damn, she's good. She's good. She almost convinced me. That's how I know how people are so dumb. I was really convinced that she really believed what was coming out of her mouth. Hillary, in the 10 years Donald Trump has been in the political sphere, I have never heard you speak so patiently or so admirably or kindly about him. I've never heard you. This is the first time. Maybe correct me if I'm wrong, y'all. Maybe there was a time where she was on the same page as Trump. I don't know. I mean, usually she's talking about how incompetent he is, how illegitimate he is, how ridiculous his policies are, how bombastic he is, all of that stuff, but never like, oh, he's doing something good over here. Let me acknowledge it. This is so anti-Democrat Party right now because it doesn't matter what he does. How many people have been kicked off? How many illegals have been kicked off Social Security? I think it's 270,000, something like that. So that's 270,000 people stealing Social Security literally. And instead of that be frontline news, no. Blacks are mad because they can't get shot and killed every day anymore. What are we doing? Anyway, all of a sudden, Miss Hillary is complimentary and offering a Nobel Peace Prize nomination. Now, the president of Ukraine, I don't know if he's here yet. I don't know if they've met yet. I'll get the updates a little bit later. But she said if he is able to broker this, then she will nominate him for the Nobel Peace Prize. And nobody's going to push back on Hillary Clinton because, we know she's Hillary Clinton and you don't go against Hillary. You don't upstage a Clinton. Don't you dare. But we'll see how that meeting goes today, and hopefully, it's a productive meeting, unlike the last one, and then we can get this squared away. And then I'll be elaborating on Trump's quest for peace all over the world tonight on the RANT experience, which will be tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I also don't know if you noticed that I changed the entire show. So I changed like the focal of the show. The focal was Trump possibly putting black folks back out in the plantation. Quite frankly, I'm trumped out. If I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I'm trumped out. And I understand he's president, and I understand he's making some really big decisions, but I don't want to talk about him. I don't want him to be like a thumbnail for every damn show that I do, right? For every lunchtime, for every lunch rant, for every rant experience. So I changed it to Amanda Seals for tonight. So she will be the uncomfortable conversation. And I haven't watched the entire Jubilee with her. I've never watched any of the entire of those Jubilee things because I think they're just annoying. But I will watch this one so that I can be ready for the show tonight. I think it's like an hour and a half. So that's an hour and a half of my day that I have to devote to watching this. And not only watching it, but taking notes. And so I'll be watching. I'll be taking notes. I'll be moving accordingly. That's tonight at 8 p.m. right back here. There's already a prompt for it. So you just hit notify me. When you go to my page, hit notify me. It'll email you when we hit the live tonight. So that's tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the YouTubes and the X. I think we're also on Kick and Twitch and is it Twitch? Yes, Twitch. And we're trying to expand to other platforms and Facebook. We're on Facebook as well. So I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in today to the Lunchtime Rant. Apologies for the problems. What I'll probably do is put both videos together and just re-upload it as a new video, and so it doesn't look so disconjoined or whatever. Also, my OCD kicks in, and I just want to make sure everything is neatly and filed away. So anyway, I appreciate y'all for watching. Thank you so much. I will catch y'all tonight on the Rant Experience at 8 p.m. We have a great show pulled together for y'all. We missed last week, so we have some things from last week that we got to go over and some things for this week. But anyway, it'll be a great show. I hope you tune in. And if you would like to support the channel, you can go to AJsRANTroom.com. That's our merch store, AJsRANTroom.com. We have everything. We have this hoodie is at AJsRANTroom.com. You can get that here. You can also get this Rebel hat at AJsRANTroom.com, AJsRANTroom.com. Yeah, we have political stuff, we have inspirational stuff, we have gym bags, we have duffel bags, we have everything. We have some stuff that big ups Christ and things of that nature. All your flavor. All right, so that's it. I appreciate y'all. Love you a long time. Catch you tonight. Peace.